Disclaimer: all views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard. Hey, What Makes Us Fire family, thank you for joining us today on this episode. Today we have Sarah, better known as Odin is Watching on TikTok. Sarah has a very unique story in that she believes, and she'll downplay, her childhood was pretty non-extraordinary, very plain. I think there's a little bit more to that. Having a father that was a police officer, a brother in the Marines, and being a middle child, I think she was a little bit more tougher than she likes to admit. Later on in life, Sarah becomes something of a warrior for those that need help. A warrior for those that get bullied, really. There's a reason why she is called Odin is Watching. Odin, if you believe the stories, has two ravens that go around the world. So Odin's kind of always watching. I like to think of Sarah as one of those ravens. And Odin is the idea she's building. She's created a movement, Operation Shield Wall. You're going to hear about that in this episode. So, without further ado, What Makes Us Fire family, please help me welcome Sarah. Odin is Watching. App. Oh my God. Come on. Internet connection. Stay strong for me. Okay. All right. Just don't move. We'll talk just like in one spot the whole time. I'm just kidding.
Deal.
I started recording, Sarah. Thank you so much for coming on to What Makes Us Fire. I really do appreciate you coming on. I know it's been kind of a pain in the ass trying to get this connection set up. On top of just us trying to find a good enough time that works for each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a busy woman. You're constantly working. My schedule is wonky just because of being a firefighter and never really knowing if I'm going to get overtime or not. But holy crap, we did it. We finally done it. We're here. We're talking. Finally, Jesus. How have you been?
Pretty good. It's just so much going on all the time with 5 kids and
holy crap, 5?
Virtual school and then working remotely. Yeah. So it's not fun since March. So I'm over it. I'm really over it. I'm not cut out for this life.
No, absolutely not. Being at home with the kids all the time? No way. No way. Can't do it. No. I like to say, I don't know if you've jumped in on any of my lives on TikTok or not, but I like to say kids are the most amazing thing in the world. I love my kids to death. My nieces and nephews, I love them. I love them to death, but they fucking ruin everything.
Oh my gosh. Everything.
They ruin everything.
They really do.
I'm okay with them ruining everything because I love them so much, but they ruin everything.
Yeah.
So you've been a busy mama, busy working, busy on, What Makes Us Fire family. This is Sarah. And if you follow the podcast and you found out about the podcast through TikTok, you will know her as Odin is Watching. If you follow her or if you heard about her, if she's jumped on your FYP, you will see a very strong woman letting people know exactly how the fuck it is. Why? Where are you from, sir? We'll get into all that, the TikTok stuff, but like I said, I like to let people know where I meet you and how we come in contact. So really how it happened was I'm new to TikTok, fairly new. I'm only like a month and a half in. But I've been blessed, and followers growing, the What Makes Us Fire family is growing, people are watching and everything. And I came across a few of your videos on the FYP page, really after I did that duet with Pop Z with the Valhalla music. And you came up on the FYP. Obviously Odin is watching Viking music, right?
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this chick looks badass, let me check out her page. And I was like, oh hell yeah. Like, oh hell yeah. Somebody is not afraid to just get in the face of people that are acting fucking stupid. And
Yep.
oh, by the way, if language, don't worry about language.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, no, no, don't worry about language, don't worry about anything like that. I If for some reason we come across a topic that you're like, hey, I don't want that out there, let me know, I can edit it out. But language, all good, all good. All the
Cool.
platforms, it's for 18 and up, not made for kids, stuff like that. So, but
Okay.
I saw your stuff and I was like, oh hell yeah, I gotta have her on. Here's a woman that's kind of breaking the mold in that you have this alternative lifestyle, right? You have this alternative way of thinking. You look different from the average kind of person that would have your ideas. And I was like, she's breaking the mold here. This is the kind of woman that really, I think the world is actually like, she is not afraid to show what the world's really like right now. Like there's more
Yeah.
people like you than I think people like to admit and or show, right?
Yeah, definitely.
They're too afraid to go against the grain, because going against the grain means being who you are, who you really
Hmm.
are, instead of following the masses. And
Yep.
you're doing that. You're doing that on your TikToks, and you're doing that in life in general. And it's pretty badass. So I saw the videos. I was like, hell yeah. And I think it was um you jumped in one of my lives, I think.
Hmm.
And I was like, hey, I really would like you to be on the show. And then I messaged you and you're like, hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a podcast or show or anything like that before?
No. No, I was I did a thing for a local radio station once because I organized the 22K.
Okay.
So I had to talk about that, but other than that, no. And that was pretty quick. It was like 5 minutes. So
Oh, this one's not 5 minutes, unless you want it to
yeah.
be, in which case, what makes us fire family? You heard me talk about Sarah. Good day.
No, no, it's fine.
Okay. So where are you from, Sarah? Let's go back. We'll get into the whole your content and what you're about and everything, but I'd like to let
Hmm.
people know where you're from, what kind of upbringing you had, kind of where did the mind of Sarah develop, and then we'll get into where it's at now.
Okay. Well, I am from Michigan, and I won't say where in Michigan because I
You
don't
don't
want
have
people
to.
finding me.
Right. No, you're
But
good.
so my I guess my dad is a retired police officer, and my mom, for the most part, stayed home when we were younger. So she was always with us. But I mean, people think that I'm intense. I mean, my mother had a razor sharp tongue, and she'd cut anybody down, for looking at her kids wrong. So I think that's where I got that from. But on the other hand, my dad was very logical and very reasonable. So I kind of got a little bit of that. But there were 6 kids in our family, and we were raised, I wouldn't say super strict, but dad being a cop, we weren't given any free passes. If you screwed up, you screwed up, and that was it. There was no, getting out of anything. He wasn't going to get us out of anything. Um, and we were raised just to have respect for everyone. Um, Really uneventful, I would say, for the most part. Pretty normal upbringing, I think. Um, until I guess later in life, but yeah, nothing really to write home about, I guess. I don't know.
So if you're having such a mediocre, normal life as Sarah, sibling to 5 other brothers and sisters,
Hmm.
and a father that's a cop, a mother that's very sharp tongued and strong. How the hell, Sarah, did you come up with this persona that you have now? Like
Oh.
you are not what I would consider normal. And that's not a bad thing to say. I'm not it's not bad. You're very unique. You are yeah, you unique. You're a unique person. You're, like I said, you're a break from the mold.
Hmm.
And hearing you tell that little bit of your background, it sounds like, well, there's nothing really. Where the hell did this uniqueness come from then? Where was this, where'd this idea come from? Where did
um
you come from?
I've kind of, I mean, I'm a middle child, well, one of two middle children, I guess I should say. So I've kind of been like this my whole life. Except for when I was really little. Like when I was really little, I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would glare at people, but I would not speak a word to anybody. So like half my family thought that I couldn't speak until I was about 3 years old. Um, and then I didn't shut up after that. So I've kind of been like this for as long as I can remember. Um, except when I was with my ex-husband, where I was just completely like nothing. And then it came back probably 10 times worse after I left him. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why I'm so intense now, because I'm like, yeah, no, fuck off. Like don't even try it. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that probably actually made it worse. But I've always been pretty intense as a person.
I wouldn't say it's worse. I don't think it's a bad thing. Worse
Hmm.
implies bad. I don't think it's bad.
Yeah.
I think people need to really speak their truth more often. Really. I think
Yeah.
people are too
Hmm.
afraid or too, yeah, afraid. They're too afraid. They're too scared to be who they are in front of other people because they're afraid of the judgment, or there's a stigma tied to you should be a certain way when you're in a group of certain people, or, and don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place for certain things, sure, right? Sure.
Yep.
But if you're able to be yourself as often as possible, no matter what, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say make it worse, sir. I would say you probably found more of yourself through that experience,
Yeah.
it being
And I
with your
think
ex-husband.
that, yeah, and I think that with so having lost my older brother to suicide, after that, I think I wouldn't say that I came out of my shell more. I just stopped caring really at all what anybody thought. Um, because I was outspoken, but not as outspoken as I am now, to where I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to know you in 2 months anyway, so your opinion of me doesn't matter at all. Because I'm his age now when we lost him, so I'm like, no, life is way too short. Like, whatever, I'm doing me, and that's all there is to it. So I think that had a bit of an impact on it too.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your brother. When we go through that kind of stuff, it always sucks. The crazy thing is about suicide is that that person really is no longer in the pain they perceive themselves to be in. The pain is now kind of just transferred to everybody else. And
Yeah.
it's a really crappy, shitty feeling because it's almost a selfish thing in that we wanted them to stay around for us.
Yep.
And in all the emotions are selfish. He feeling that way about yourself is a selfish thing. And because you want them there for you, but then you also want them there for them. And it's like, it's really hard to work through. When you're able to find a reason or a way to go about it afterwards and use it as, have it be something more than what it was. And that's what you did. You
Hmm.
allowed, as horrible as it is, you found a way to grow from it, and that
Yep.
growth is a good thing. You grew as a person from it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying at any point in time that there is anything good about suicide. It's not. There's nothing good about suicide, but if you can grow from going through an experience like that, when someone close to you does do that, there
Yeah.
is something to say about you and how you can handle traumatic experiences in your life,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
How have you really grown into that person since that time, and what kind of change did you see in yourself, and how long did it take for you to really realize that that change was happening?
Um,
Hold on. I am
no problem.
so sorry. My damn
That's okay.
dogs and my kids showed up. Do you hear that wailing in the
Yeah.
back?
Yeah.
Oh God. Hey guys, I am on an interview. Did you hear that? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So when did you start realizing that it helped you grow and that you kind of learned from it?
Um, Man, I think so. We lost him. This year will be year number 4, I guess. So
Oh,
I
so
think
it's
it,
fairly recent.
yeah, yeah, it was Christmas 2016. So we, oh, I want to say it took a couple years, really. And I think I was trying the entire time, but for me to actually see that there was any change happening in me, it was definitely a couple years because I just kind of for a while blocked everything out. Um, and so one thing that my brother and I used to do, like when he was in high school and I was going into high school in middle school, is we used to work out together all the time before he went into the Marine Corps. Um, so like I still have his weight sets from when we were younger, and I don't use those ones. I just let them sit. But
Hmm.
so I started working out again, which I did, before it all happened anyway. But I had started working out again, and I found that that was like the best way for me to deal with everything was to blast some like 5 FTP and just go to town. Um, and then once I was doing that for a while, I don't know, I started making other changes, like shaving half my head just because like whatever, what, I've always wanted to do this, and just starting to do things where I'm like, I want to do this. I've always wanted to do this. I had purple hair at one point and I just started doing all these things that I'd always wanted to do but never did because I'm like, oh, I can't do this because of work, or oh, I can't do this because of that, or I shouldn't do this. And I'm like, whatever, I don't even care. So I think it was just very gradual process for me, and just kind of throwing all caution to the wind and doing what I wanted. So it was really good for me.
So it's hard to really comprehend because for me, I've had a friend. I haven't had a brother or sister, and I'm sure being closer and watching somebody grow up and then having something like that happen would have definitely made a change in who I am and how I am. But I have had very close friends that I would consider brothers, that have passed due to that. It's hard for me to comprehend that because for me, I couldn't find anything. There was nothing like that. Like it wasn't, even though we did all these things together, for me, whenever I did those things, it reminded me of them. And it was almost painful to do those things again because it was like, well, he's not here. It's not as fun. It's not as this, it's not as that. But you were able to find it and use it as a coping mechanism, as a way to get through it.
Yeah.
how how do you think, or why do you think it was that way for you, where other people like me would sometimes see that as, and it happens for others, quote unquote, triggers where it reminds you of what happened?
So I think for me it was more like I had to find something because I I mean I still relive certain things that happened during that time, but like I had to find something to do to keep myself from going nuts. And I mean there were a ton of times that I would just break down in the middle of a workout and just bawl my eyes out and figure just keep pushing through it. Um And so I think I just kind of forced myself to do it regardless of what I was feeling at the time. But another thing was my brother was a huge jokester. Like he thought he was really funny. He really was funny sometimes, but I use dark humor to cope with it too. So I think that was also really helpful because I would say something, people would cringe, and all I thought was Josh would be laughing right now. So I don't even care that you're cringing.
His name was
But
Josh.
yeah, his name's Josh.
Hell yeah. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, and plus he lived in Toll House, California. So we, we didn't see each other that often. Um, and with his PTSD, he kind of stopped talking to people and he kind of drew back from people. So I don't want to say that made it easier, but it wasn't like I was talking to him every single day. Um, it's still, I mean, it still obviously sucked, but it was different, I think, because of that. Um, we weren't as close as we were at one point.
Right. Well, and that's the thing about human emotion, right? We can't really always expect the same reaction for everyone, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how close we are. If you start losing contact with somebody, sometimes when something extraordinary happens or a trauma happens, we don't necessarily react the same way we would with somebody else that has a little bit of a closer connection. It's not to
Yeah.
say that it's not to say that when that trauma happens that we care any less. It just makes it a little bit easier to handle,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's a misconception sometimes because, like you're saying, it's your brother, and you found it a little bit easier because towards the end, the connection wasn't as strong. But
Right.
that's a normal thing. That's a normal
Hmm.
thing, right? And now, if you were talking every day and you were close, then maybe that trauma would have made it a bit worse, and or
I couldn't
made you
even
feel a
imagine
bit
that.
worse, right?
Yeah. That it was I thinking about that, and I think about like one of my sisters who I pretty much talk to every day. I can't even, like, I can't even imagine. I can't even, because it was the worst thing that had ever happened to me, and I can't even imagine it having been another one of my siblings that I speak to more regularly. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and but that again, that's a normal thing. It's just a connection thing. It doesn't mean that it's any less important, or it means any less. It just means the emotional connection is just stronger at some points than others. That's all it is.
Yep.
It doesn't make it any more or less of a traumatic experience and what
Yeah.
it actually means.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into your TikTok stuff because
Okay.
I really enjoy it. And thank you for. I do want to say thank you for sharing that part of your life, that trauma, because I know some people it's a little difficult to get into that emotional mind or to start talking about it again because it does bring up those emotions sometimes, right? We
Yeah.
sometimes we're able to disconnect the emotion with the event and we can talk about it like it was nothing, no big deal. But a lot of times when we talk about those things and we had a really strong emotional connection to that event, sometimes those emotions comes back up when we talk about it. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you. I appreciate you taking us there and allowing us to be a part of that, allowing me to be a part of that, and kind of giving us a background as to who you are.
Mhm.
When did you get on TikTok? I want to start there because that's probably, then we're going to get into how you decided that you were going to go the route you did with your content.
Mhm. So I got on TikTok the end of August,
Oh, so you're
and
fairly new like me.
I'm fairly new. I still don't know how to do half the stuff on here that I should know how to do. I have no clue. My daughter taught me transitions. That's not happening. But I'm fairly new. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of hate TikTok. Um I got
What?
on actually to test it out for work.
For
And
work?
then for work, yeah. So I'm in real estate, and I'm
Oh, okay.
basically run a real estate team. I do all the background stuff for them. Thankfully don't have to do any sales because I don't want to ever do that again. But so we were testing it out to see if it would be like any other social media where you can connect with people and it can bring business, whatever. Um, Learned very quickly that that was not the case. And by that time, I think I was like 3 weeks in and I had over 20,000 followers. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So
wait,
then
2 weeks in?
yeah, 3 weeks in, I had like 20,000 followers and I was
What the
like, oh my
hell were
Lord, this
you
happened.
doing? And please tell me how to do that.
I don't know because most people don't want to hear anything I have to say because I'm so aggressive. So I
Uh,
was like,
Sarah,
why do
Sa-
any of these people care?
Sarah, you do realize what you just said is an oxymoron, right?
I
Yeah,
know,
nobody wants to
yeah.
listen to what I have to say, except I have 30 plus K
Yeah.
followers
Yeah.
wanting to listen to what you have to say.
Yeah. Yeah. It
That's
was,
not nobody, Sarah. That's
yeah.
30,000 plus people wanting to hear what
Yeah.
you have to say. That's
Yeah.
extraordinary.
It was, I think the one video that really, I can't even remember which video it was. I don't know. I mean, the first video I made was actually about my brother and losing him to suicide. Um, and the next video was had something to do with that, but then also like my own struggles in life, like with my ex-husband and stuff. And then from there, it just kind of went floop and took off. And I was like, all right, well, this is okay. And then I just kind of felt like I was stuck with it. So I stayed and now I have like 82,000, I think, something 81, I don't know, something like that, just over 80,000. And
Holy.
I don't know. So this is the worst part though. This is the worst part about it. And I'm going to have to start removing followers because my kids, when I had 20,000 followers after like 2 weeks or whatever, one of my daughters said, hey, if you ever hit 100,000, you have to do one of the TikTok dances and you have to post it. And like an idiot, thinking I would never even hit 50,000, I was like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. I'll get right on that, like, deal. And now the closer I get, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no, I'm gonna have to do this. Like, I'm gonna have to start removing people that I don't see come up frequently and just be like, all right, you're not following me anymore. Like, bye. Yeah, so I'm kind of freaking out about that because I don't do that. That's not what I do
I
on
don't think you're going to
TikTok.
be able to remove enough followers and fast enough with the way you are gaining. I don't think you
Yeah.
are. I think you better start getting ready to do the WAP dance there, Sarah.
I am not doing that. That is never happening. No. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, every once in a while I'm like, maybe I can
or the
shadow
twerk
dance you
video
and get it. Oh
or the
God.
twerk
No,
video.
nope. Nope. Never. Nope.
I
Yeah,
tell
I
you what,
don't.
I'll you pick the dance. You get to 1K, you get to 100K, you pick the dance, I'll do it with you.
Okay, deal.
Deal?
Deal.
Okay.
Deal.
Yeah, you get to 100K, I'll do the dance with you. And you just tell me whatever, but you got to pick the dance. You got to pick the dance,
Okay.
or
I'll
have
have
your
to
kids
figure out what
pick it
they
or
are.
whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
they'll
know.
have to teach me.
Yeah, absolutely. Where did the name Odin is watching come from?
So I can't remember what my name was originally. I think it was actually my real name. And then I changed it to Odin is watching because I started doing videos about tracking people down that should not be on social media or on the app or different things like that. And Odin has two ravens that fly the earth or Midgard, whatever you want to call it, um, and see everything, and then they report back to him. So in a way, he's always watching. So it's basically a way of saying like people are always watching you. We're on to you. We're gonna find you, and we're gonna get rid of you. So I
Hell
mainly
yeah.
do stuff from the background though. So like the JFG, he does a lot of call outs. There's other people that'll do a lot of call outs, but I kind of stick with not doing the call outs and I just find the information and pass it on to people that need it. Um, because like I'm not worried so much about calling people out on TikTok. I'm worried more about getting them removed or turning them over to the police or whatever needs to happen. Because I think there were like 3 in 1 week that we got reported to the police and they were dealt with. So that's my concern. I don't really care about the
So
TikTok stuff.
you created it, and then you guys, you and others, started a movement and trying to find shitheads.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. And so
Do
we
you
have
guys?
Operation Shield Wall for that.
Yeah, and can you explain? Can you explain really what that is so
Operation
people can
Shield Wall?
understand? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So basically what that is a bunch of us started that. I wouldn't say a bunch of us, a few of us started that hashtag so that when we would see it, it would show us that there was somebody that either needed help because they were either getting picked on or, you know, somebody was going after them, whatever it may be. I think that it's mainly for when they were getting like bullied really hard. People would tag us and stuff, or they would send us the videos, or they would tag Operation Shield Wall in their video. And then, you know, we could basically create a shield around them to kind of protect them from these idiots. Try to get the idiots removed. Honey, are you okay? Do you have to go potty? So here, just sit right here with me. So basically,
this is a brand new thing for the show, so this is going to be great.
Oh. So yeah, so Operation Shield Wall, yes, it's
really like, so you guys started a movement for people that have been getting bullied, people that are being harassed for no reason other than for them being themselves.
Yep, pretty much. And you know, some of these people are just absolutely wicked, and it's insane. It's just crazy to me because it's like, how do you just like wake up every day to get online, to troll people, to just be an asshole? Like, it blows my mind. So for me, you know, I don't care that, I mean, when they come at me, whatever, I'll come up with some smart ass remark to say back to them, something witty, whatever, and it'll, you know, roll off my shoulders. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. But some people, they're really affected by it. And while I don't understand that personally, just because whatever people say on TikTok, I'm just like, okay. Some people are really affected by what people say to them. So, you know, whatever we can do to be there to stand up for them, you know, that's what I want to be able to do. And so with the website that I have, the odiniswatching.com, having all the links for like the FBI and all that stuff where people can go and report the death threats they're getting and all that. I think it's important because it all kind of brings everything together that people need. Plus for like, you know, child predators and things like that, because there's not really a website that has everything together. So I think that was like the main goal, is to just give everybody the information they need in one place. And it just kind of all went from there.
And it's exploding. It really is. Yeah. So this is actually me. So the content that I watched of yours, I didn't know that's exactly what you guys are doing. I knew you guys were doing something because you were making videos of getting in people's faces, telling them how it is, telling them to shut the fuck up. And, you know, their opinion is their opinion, and it doesn't really matter all that much, just like our opinions don't matter all that much. But since you felt like the need to give yours, here's mine, motherfucker. Like, here you go.
Yep.
So it's OdinIsWatching.com.
Yep.
Have you made videos promoting what the Blue Shield is?
We have made videos for promoting Operation Shield Wall.
I'm sorry, Operation Shield Wall. Make sure I say that right.
I haven't done a whole lot lately, but I still see people, you know, commenting on them and stuff. So I know they're still being seen. But I think it's up to like, I think the hashtag is up to like 5 million views now. So, I mean, it took off pretty well and pretty quick, and people are still using it. So it's definitely still out there. And I do use the hashtag in some of my videos, depending on what, you know, the video is. So,
well, I'm going to start using that in my videos, even if it doesn't have anything to do with it, whether it's me being goofy, serious. So I know you've seen a lot of, I know you've probably seen some of my content, and a lot of it has been directed towards mental health. That's because I've been going through some mental health issues and processes in my life, and I want to be an advocate for other first responders, firefighters, cops, all that stuff. And
Honey,
I'm so sorry.
Go to the bathroom. Go. I don't know what you're doing. Just go. She'll be right. Genevieve, go. Yes.
If you want to take a minute, you can take a minute. Yep. Yeah, take a minute.
Just a second.
Yeah. Take your time.
Wow.
Oh man, that's a first for the What Makes Us Fire podcast show. So it's going to be awesome because part of the podcast too really is showing everybody that we're all human beings. We all still have these lives. We're all normal people. We are not what you see on TikTok all the time. Like we're normal people. We have to deal with normal people's stuff.
Yep.
Just like everybody else. And that includes crying for you. It just happens. Yeah. That's who we are.
I know. I think it's funny when people freak out if I pop into their live or if I comment on their video and I'm like, look, I'm literally just a very tired mother that needs to get away from everything and get on TikTok for a minute. Like that's all this is. Calm down.
Well, but the reason, Sarah, why people get a little excited when you hop in is because you've become this influencer, really.
Yeah.
You're a social media influencer. Let's call it what it is. You're a TikTok influencer. You have become someone that people look up to, that look for strength, that look for comfort, that look for guidance. Even though you're not doing it personal level, even though you're not talking to them or PMing them or coming onto a podcast, you're still putting content out there for them to feel something from. Yeah. And so that's why people get really excited when you come in. It's really like, holy crap. She's really just a human being, and it's really cool when people don't feel like these celebrities or these influencers, these people that are really popular. It's really cool to finally realize, well, they're just as human as we are. They're just as down to earth as we are. They're really cool. And that's why when you came into my life, I was like, oh, Sarah, what's up? Hey, what's going on? And it was kind of twofold, right? One, I was excited because you do have a following that is really good. I'm a follower. I love your content. It's awesome. I love learning from it. I love laughing at it. I love when you dog on these assholes. It's great. But when you come in, you have, and it's also, for me, it's a lot of self-promotion as well, too, right? And let's be honest, I have to self-promote if I want people to listen to the podcast. Yep. I'm going to be honest. I'm not hiding it whatsoever. That's not the reason why I invited you on the podcast. I invited the podcast because I like your stuff. I wouldn't have invited you had I thought you're just putting a bunch of crap that I don't agree with, I'm not going to. I don't give a shit about her followers if she's putting stuff I don't like. But when you hop into people's lives and stuff and you're not realizing that, you're like, look, I'm just a normal human being. I'm just a person. You're a little bit more than that, in that you're a person that has found the strength, or there's something in you where you're able to share who you are and how you feel without worrying about the repercussions. And I think a lot of people look for that within themselves. So when they see it in somebody else, it kind of inspires them. Yeah. And so you're a little bit of an inspiration as well. So don't downplay yourself on that part. Seriously. I say, accept it, live in it, be okay with it, because that's what you are. You're an influencer. You give people good vibes. Not to mention, you have a pretty badass movement that you and others have started. And like I said, I'm going to start using that, Operation Shield Wall. Correct? Okay. Yep. I'm going to start using that because I want to be a part of that as well. My thing is, look, if there are people out there that are afraid to be themselves because they're afraid to be judged, right? It's okay. If that's who you are, that's okay. But the people that are preying on those people, screw you.
Yep.
Screw you. How dare you become a keyboard warrior? Come say that to my face, right? I wouldn't want to say it to your face, Sarah.
I haven't been in a fight in a very long time. I mean, that's not going to stop me from fighting anybody, but I mean,
I would be afraid you'd reach towards your back and here's an axe, and then all of a sudden here's a damn shield, and I'm gonna blink and you're gonna have war paint on, ready to go, and I'm gonna be like, oh, what the fuck just happened?
Smear my makeup. Yeah. I mean, I was always raised like, you don't throw the first punch, but you always take the last, and you eliminate the threat. I mean, you know, self-defense was a huge thing in my house growing up, in my parents' house, and standing up for people that couldn't stand up for themselves was always a very big thing. And just treating people decently, because I mean, I will always treat people decently until they are not treating me decently, and then gloves are off. I don't care. I'll go after your mother. I don't care. But I think that's always had a huge impact on me, because like with my dad, with all this stuff with, people hating cops, it makes me absolutely crazy, because my dad was a very, very respected police officer. I mean, he had people that he had taken to jail multiple times show up to his retirement party because they genuinely liked him as a person. And we were always, taught, you don't belittle anyone. You don't belittle anyone, not even the garbage man, because one day you may work for him. So you always treat people decently until they're not treating you decently. So I've always held on to that. And so some people think that, oh, you're just a bully, you're just whatever. But if they ever actually looked, I've never gone after anyone unless they came after me first. So, or somebody else for that matter. But, retaliation is always fair game.
Absolutely. I think so too. Well, and that's one of the things that I actually talked about on a previous podcast, right? We have this great thing in the US called the First Amendment. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing thing because we can say whatever the hell we want and whatever we feel, right? That's our First Amendment right. What I think a lot of people are forgetting with that First Amendment right is that it does not protect you from consequence.
Right.
It does not protect you from somebody else coming right back at you with what they think and feel about you and your thoughts.
Right. Exactly. Well, and it's funny because people talk about how TikTok violates our First Amendment right, and all I'm thinking is like, TikTok is not the government. Like, they're not violating anything, because you're on their platform. So if they don't agree with what you're saying, or they think it's crossing a line, they can remove it. They have every right to do that. They're not violating anything. Are they censoring us? Yeah, maybe. Okay. But they're not really violating anything.
No, they're not violating anything. It's a free platform. You're not paying anything for.
Yep.
Right. They are paying their employees, their creators, their software engineers. They are paying them. They own it. We take advantage of it. Even if their idea does not align with mine, and they censor stuff that I put out there because it doesn't align with their idea. Yeah, it sucks, right? Like, you let this person who shows this kind of bullshit that I don't agree with, but I show something that they don't agree with, and you don't show it to people. What the fuck? Like, what the hell? But it sucks. But at the same time, do I really have the right to complain about it? Like, really? Do I really have the right to complain about it? No, I don't. I'm utilizing their platform. I'm enjoying the stuff. It sucks when I get censored, sure, but I don't have a leg to stand on. It's not like I'm a shareholder in any way, shape, or form. I don't contribute other than putting my own content on there. So it doesn't. When people don't get that idea in their head, and then they it's the same thing with Facebook. Everybody's upset with Zuckerberg. Especially if you have a certain political affiliation. People are upset with Twitter if you have a specific political affiliation or ideology or religion, whatever. Those platforms have, and it's proven, they have censored those ideas from getting out there. But really, can you complain about it? Sure, complain all you want, but they're not breaking any rules. They're not breaking any laws. They're not stopping your First Amendment right. They're just saying, hey, this is ours. we're allowing you to be here. We're going to tell you what's okay and what's not okay. Like that's all it is. It sucks. Yep. Sure. Absolutely. It sucks. It's stupid, but it is what it is. So if you're going to utilize it, just go into it knowing that, and you won't be pissed off. There's no reason to be pissed off if you go into knowing it.
When people are always saying things like, everybody needs to see this, and I'm like, nah, the people that need to see it are going to see it. And that's just how I look at it. Millions of people don't need to see it. There are people that need to see it, and they'll see it. Otherwise, they don't need to. They're not going to. And that's fine.
If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yep.
When you make your content, do you try to incorporate your belief system in with the whole Odin is watching? Obviously, that is going to tell somebody that sees that screen name right off the bat and then sees your profile picture like, oh shit, this is a Viking bitch. She's ready to come at you. You know what I mean? Like, this is a hardcore Viking dude. Don't fuck with her. So you get that idea, and Vikings have that vibe, right? When you hear about Vikings, it's out there. Now, people that don't know the actual history of Vikings, yes, they were that bad, but they actually, a lot of Vikings were actually just farmers. Believe it or not.
Yeah, believe it or not, they were farmers. Yeah,
most of them were just farmers. It wasn't all the raiding and everything else that you see. Yes, that did happen. Yes.
Yeah. Because Viking is actually an occupation, so they would actually be called Vikingers. But yeah, most of them were just farmers, and there's a lot of things in like different shows and movies and stuff that make them out to be like these dirty, just unintelligent, unclean people, but actually they were a lot more cute. They were clean. They showered multiple times a week, whereas people in England weren't, which is why they ended up, dying of disease and stuff. But they were actually very clean, pretty intelligent. Pretty much the way they made people in England look back in the day is really how the Vikings were, and just like flip flop them, I should say Norsemen.
Norsemen. And that's the thing, like Viking was the occupation, right? They were the quote unquote warriors. Norsemen was the culture, the people. And most of them were farmers. They were hunter gatherers, farmers. The Vikings, yes, they'd go off and they'd raid, they'd look for new land, just like any other culture and civilization did throughout history. Some just did it better than others. That's all it is. But these ideas that people have, they like to keep it Hollywood because it's fantastical. It's a fantasy. It's, oh man, look at Ragnar Lothbrok on Vikings on the History Channel. That dude is fucking gorgeous. Not all the Vikings look like that, but and a lot of the Vikings, they were all very short. They weren't tall, huge, monstrous men that you see on these movies in Hollywood. It just wasn't like that. Did you try, or have you tried to keep that idea going with your content? Because I've noticed a lot of what you're doing is very just you. You're not dressed up. You're not dressed up in the pagan garb or anything like that. It's just you being who you are on a day-to-day, and you're just on TikTok. I think maybe I think I only came across maybe one or two where you're kind of in garb.
So that vest, I wear that vest all the time. That's like a normal look for me.
Oh, really?
It is, yeah. So it's funny because people are like, "Oh, you've got the vest," and I'm like, I literally wear this everywhere. Like, this is a normal. Like, anybody that will wear something like that, or wear zebra print, or wear whatever they want, or do their hair like me, or have ridiculously gaudy makeup, like, just leave them alone. That's all I'm gonna say. Because we don't give a shit. But yeah, no, that's actually a very normal look for me. I used to, my aunt, when I was younger, when I would dress myself when I was a kid, she said I would look like a bag lady because I would just come up with all these crazy outfits. And then I've just always been like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, no. Why didn't you want to kind of keep that through all your content that you put out?
I mean, I'm just myself, I guess. And so one day I'll have my makeup done because I feel like doing my makeup, and the next day I don't because I don't want to, so it's just whatever I feel that day that I want to do for the day. And that's, what you see is what you get with me. So I'm not one of those people that's going to do my makeup for TikTok. I'm not going to, dress a certain way. How I wake up and get ready in the morning, that's what you're getting. I'm not changing it. I don't like the whole, I don't know, there are people that will not get on social media without doing certain things. Half the time I don't even shower before I make a TikTok. So,
well, it's a good thing it's a good thing it's not smell-o-vision then, Sarah.
That's
Jesus.
right.
Yeah, I can just see you after a workout decide to make a TikTok, and if you were here,
yeah, you don't be here. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because it was like a month ago or maybe a month and a half ago. So my mom actually passed away as well, about just over 2 years after my brother. And she did genealogy, and so our family tree on Ancestry has tens of thousands of people in it. So I ended up taking it over, and I went to the very end of both my mom and my dad's side, and found out, so the Norsemen in Vikings, Ragnar and Rollo, who were not actually related
they
in
were
real
not
life,
related, they weren't brothers, and they actually existed hundreds of years apart.
Yeah. So I come down from Rollo on my dad's side and Ragnar on my mom's.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I don't think I've ever been so excited in my life as when I saw that. And I thought it was so funny because I'm like, my mom never told me this. She would have had absolutely no idea who they were or the importance behind it or anything. And I'm going through the roof calling my dad at 2 o'clock in the morning after I found it. So he was pretty excited, but I mean, that was just like, I don't know, that was like the coolest thing that had ever happened.
Yeah,
So it
those
just
are
kind of
two
like makes my face a
pretty
bit warm.
damn big names when it comes to
Yeah.
Norseman history.
Yep. So that was pretty cool. Pretty
Yeah.
excited about that. But yeah, I mean, what you see with me is what you get.
Yeah, and the only reason why I know a little bit of all this is because, believe it or not, my wife and I are very much into Norseman culture, Viking culture. We went last year so in Texas, we have the Texas Renaissance Festival, which is the largest Renaissance festival in the nation. Well, just about 2 hours more away, last year they put on the first ever Viking festival in Texas. And it was
really?
it was strictly Norseman Viking related. And there was I'm going to send you a picture. There is a guy there that looked like Floki from the Vikings, like to a T. Sounded
Oh,
like him,
wow.
acted like him, drank like him. And it was amazing. They had an archery contest there with longbows and recurve. They had different people doing archery on horseback from different time periods, and
Oh,
how
that's so
they would shoot.
cool.
And then there was shows going on. There was just there was paganism everywhere. There was Norsemen, there was Viking. It was just an amazing experience. Like, it was awesome. And
Where
of
in
course, a lot.
Texas?
It's so if you go, it's so the Texas Renaissance Festival has a weekend that is Viking themed. And then the Viking Festival, and I'm gonna have to get back to you to give you the exact place. But it was just outside. Oh, golly, you're gonna get me lying to you. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. But
Okay.
it's not too far from where the Texas Renaissance Festival is at. And it was just it was an amazing experience, because at the end they did the fire where everybody throws in the bad shit they want to get rid of, and watch
Mm-hmm.
it was everybody was around this huge ass bonfire. Everybody participated when it came to dressing the part and being there. And it was so cool because it was their first year, so it was kind of small. You didn't have the quote unquote tourists where people were just showing up in plain clothes to see what was up. No, everybody that was there wanted to participate in some way, somehow, either by dressing up or playing the character or whatever. It was an amazing experience. And I'm going to get my wife to get in contact with you to let you know when that is, because we're trying to figure out if they're going to do it again this year. They did it in December last year, and if they do it again, we're going. But because of all this COVID shit, we're not entirely sure.
Yeah.
If I can find it, I'll send you the information. I know it's a bit of a ways out of the way from where you're at.
Yeah.
But if you can ever come down here and do it, we were out there all day. We were drinking mead all day. It was amazing. It was so much fun.
Well, my youngest brother lives in Houston, and so I would just.
That's the area
Mike,
I live in.
I'm coming to visit Mike, and it's funny because he's a Christian pastor in Katy, Texas. So
that is only an hour away from where I'm at.
Oh, crazy! Yeah,
yeah.
So he's out there. I just go visit him, and be like, let's go. He would totally go. He'd love to go to something like that.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome. I tell you what, we're gonna make this happen, because if you can come down and visit, and they're having it, we're gonna get together and we're gonna go out there and we're gonna party like Norsemen. I promise you. Hell yeah, we'll do it.
That'd be awesome.
Hell yeah, it'd be awesome. Oh yeah, they had like axe throwing. They had anyway, it was badass. Yeah, it was badass. It was amazing. Where do you see yourself going from here? You're very nonchalant with how you're affecting people's lives. I know you're trying to be humble, and it's respected. I respect that. But you are making a difference, and you have to know that that's true.
Yeah, so like people I think I have over 600 unread messages right now, and a lot of them are people, saying that I've helped them in some way, and I think that's awesome. I've never really been one to let anything go to my head. I like to stay grounded, so the less I think about things like that, the better. Because I've just, in the short amount of time I've even been on TikTok, there are some bigger creators that have blown up, and their whole attitude kind of changes toward people. I'll be honest, when my videos have less views and less comments and I can actually talk to people, I like it a lot more. So if I'm only getting 2,000 views on a video and I've got like 100 comments, 200 comments, whatever, I prefer that over, 10,000 likes, because I'm like, I can't even talk to all these people. So I think, I don't know, I just like to stay grounded, and I'd rather have the relationships with people, even though I'm really not a people person at all. I really honestly hate people as a whole, just because people are assholes. But which is so funny, because I'm like, I love talking to these people, but I hate people. They're like the worst thing that ever happened to this planet. But I don't know. I think it's just really important to stay grounded, and I don't know.
Well, what are you afraid of if you have this mindset? What are you afraid of allowing yourself to accept all that recognition and praise? If you have the mindset and you already know that you're not going to allow yourself to go there, why not accept it? Why not be okay with it? Are you afraid it's going to change you? Are you afraid that these people telling you, hey, you're making a difference, going to actually change your personality? I don't think it will, Sarah. No, I don't think it will.
I'm very bad. I'm the worst at accepting compliments, praise, anything like that. I don't want it. Like, it makes me cringe. That's why I don't go live, because when people gift on lives, I shut it down. I'm like, nope, we're not doing this. I can't do this. And it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why it makes me so uncomfortable, but it does. And I'm trying to get over that. So I've been live like twice. And I don't do it because I just can't stand it. I can't.
Can I make a suggestion? So maybe we can change your mindset. So if you're concerned about them gifting you for just you being you, You have Operation Shield Wall, right?
Yep.
Have you thought of maybe creating like a 501c3 charity that gives to, human trafficking, bullying, all those other types of organizations that can help in that realm?
Yeah.
That way, if you go on live, you can say all proceeds are not going to me. They're going to this. So therefore now you're doing it not for you. You're doing it for others, which I think you're more okay with.
Yeah,
you're more
I'm
okay.
Way more okay with that.
You're way more okay with standing up for somebody or doing something for somebody than getting the own praise. So why don't you go live and use the proceeds to help somebody else?
Yeah. I think that's what I think I need to do that. I know people keep telling me that I need to do that, but I really need to just do it. My whole thing is where, like, with the website and everything, and going like, I don't know why I'm so uncomfortable with it. I really don't. But if there were like an organization that we're going to, that would be I would be okay with that.
Yeah, because you're putting your
because like my grandmother and her identical twin were on Broadway. My great grandfather was a famous organist. My third cousin is Steven Seagal. Like I should be okay with
Wait, hold
all
on.
of
What?
these
Stop.
things.
Stop. Stop.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Back up.
Yeah.
Don't tell me this dude shows up at like family reunions and stuff.
I don't go to family reunions. So he might, I don't know. His mom did. His mom was a wonderful woman. He was my grandmother's cousin's son. So I think that's third cousin, something like that. But she was amazing. I don't like him so much, but she was great. She was a great woman. But so I don't know. I'm an introvert.
Yo, you're doing one hell of a job to prove you're an introvert there, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. I'm like a very extroverted introvert. Like if I don't have to leave my house, I'm not leaving my house. I don't want to be around people. I don't want to, I don't know. I'm very weird.
Yeah, you're an oxymoron, Sarah.
Yeah.
And it's fucking awesome. I love it.
It's crazy.
So where do you want to take this content? Where do you want it to go? What do you want it to be? Because right now you're doing it to help others and to stand up for others. Do you want it to be more than that later on?
Really my only goal with it is to make people aware of the different things that are out there that they can get help with. Like so many people had no idea that they could report death threats to the FBI. And I'm like, how do people not know this? How do people not know this is a thing? And so I think it's just making people aware of things. And, just the different websites where they can go and actually report things that are happening. I honestly, it just blows my mind that there's just some things that people aren't aware of. And so I think my biggest concern is just making people aware of these things and putting it in one central location for them. And if along the lines we can help more people, then awesome. I mean, really, however we can help.
So you're really just wanting to continue what you're doing. Really,
yeah,
you're not looking for it to grow more than where it's at right now. However, I do think you can, by creating a charity or a 501c3, you can actually make this grow into something bigger. You might be able to even touch more lives that aren't on TikTok, lives that aren't on social media. You might be able to do that with a charity like that.
Yeah.
And it's going to take some research and how exactly you'd be able to allocate the funds and where it would go exactly. But if that's something you're really wanting to do, I think you can grow your message a lot more. And I'd love to help you with it if you would allow me to, because I'm with you, right? I'm with you 110%. As much as I would love, and I don't understand how people cannot sometimes stand up for themselves with somebody's being a dick. I don't understand it, but just because I don't understand it doesn't mean I don't sympathize with it.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. people are very unaware of the fact that death threats are illegal. You have the First Amendment right, but the First Amendment right does not include calls to action for violence.
Right.
So you can't say, I'm going to kill you, or, hey guys, go destroy this. That's a call to action for violence. That's illegal.
Yep.
So a lot of people aren't aware of that. And you being able to put that message out, and I think maybe creating a charity or something where people can go and get that help, whether it be maybe a counselor, maybe a peer supporter, creating a peer network. With the 501c3, you can create a peer network of people that you just have a list of phone numbers, and they go to the website. Hey, this person's close to me. Let me give them a call. Maybe they can help me out and point me in the right direction. All those things can help. There's a lot of avenues I think you can take this, Sarah, that would be very beneficial for people. And I can really, I really get the feeling that you got this idea of helping people from your father, who used to be he used to be a cop. You military in your past as well. You actually duetted one of my videos, which was awesome. And I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly who the gentleman was. Was that your grandfather?
No, that was my brother.
That was your brother. That's okay. Okay. Well, I'm honored. There's 2 Joshes in that video. Awesome. So you have veterans and stuff in your family as well. And so you come from a family that showed self-sacrifice for the masses, whether it have been military or public service like a cop. So I think that rubbed off on you, even though you might not be a cop, you might not be in the military, whatever. The fact that you're able to still find a way to become a civil service person, just not in the realm that we think of it all the time when you hear civil service. You have become that. You've become that through social media, of all things, right? And but you found a way to help people that sometimes feel like they can't help themselves, right? That's why firefighters are there. That's why cops are there. That's why we called them, because we're in an emergency. We're in a position where we need more help than what we can do for ourselves. And you've been able to be that for people, Sarah. I know it's a compliment. I know you're probably cringing right now. That's, that you're just going to have to deal with it. But you've become that for people, and you found a way to be that by being you. And that's an extraordinary thing. You didn't have to create a persona to be that for people, and to be able to be you and who you are, and no masks or makeup or frilly things, nothing extraordinary, just you as Sarah. Odin is watching on TikTok are making a difference. And that's pretty fucking badass. And you should be able, and it's okay to be able to accept that.
Yeah, I need to learn to do that. Right now I have a big project going with the website where I'm taking every state and every state's resources and all of their connections for different things, and putting them on the website. And it's taking a very long time because there's so much information. So I'm trying to get all that pushed out so that everybody can go to their own state and figure out exactly who they need to contact for different things. And that's a way bigger project than I thought it was going to be. So,
I tell you
that's
what,
coming.
I tell you what, doing this podcast, even it has grown so much more than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be me talking to firefighters, their families, and getting their points of view, and just learning about the people, because they're people first, right? Human beings first. That's what we are. We're just normal people doing abnormal jobs. Well, you're a normal person doing something really abnormal for the world, for the community. So it has grown into something bigger than me, right? And the reason why I say that is because I want to ask you real quick, when did you realize what you were doing was bigger than you? Like, it's no longer just Odin is watching anymore. It's no longer just Sarah. It's bigger than you now. You're putting out content not just for you anymore. I mean, you're putting it out for you, yes, because you get to choose what you put out there. You're putting what you want, sure, but it's more than just for you.
Yeah, I think that came pretty quick. It came pretty quick. It was within a few weeks, a month maybe, that I realized, like, okay, And that's when I decided, like, as much as I want to get off this app, I feel like I cannot get off this app. And really, the only thing that keeps me on TikTok is the messages from people saying, like, hey, thanks. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be on it anymore, which is probably bad to say. But, so I only stay on for them. So I'm not one of those people that's worried about having like 1 million followers or even as many followers as I have. I'm only worried about connecting with the people that need to connect to me for whatever reason they need to connect to me. So I really just stay for them. But it came pretty quick.
But then you do realize you made the choice to do that, right? Like you made the conscious choice to do that.
Yep.
So that says something about you.
Maybe I like people more than I think. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe you actually give a shit more than you'd like to think.
Yeah, well, I do care. I think I care too much sometimes because it makes me, I get very irritated. And obviously in some of my videos, I just lose my shit. But I think it's because I do care so much and it just pisses me off. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Like there's like humans everywhere and no humanity. What the hell is wrong with you people? So it makes me angry because I do care a lot.
And that's okay to share. That's okay to show, right? Yep. It's okay to show. It's okay to stand up for the little guy, and it's okay for the little guy to stand up for themselves. It's okay. And I really do give you a lot of credit. And I know I've been kissing your ass a lot throughout this interview. I love the fact that I can talk to you just like this, and I can dog on you a little bit, and you're okay with it. And I hope you don't take any offense to it. I dog on you because I care. That's the whole thing within the fire service and civil service is we'll dog on each other and we'll make fun of each other. You better not show us a weakness because we will expose and we will go after it and we will poke and prod. And the fact that you're dealing with it right now from me, it says a lot about you. Like you would fit into the fire department. Perfect. Yeah, like you would be right on board.
I worked with Marines for like 6 years when I lived in North Carolina, and I was married to a Marine. My older brother and older sister were both Marines. And so, I mean, that whole thing, pretty used to it, honestly. Like,
well, not to mention your father was a cop. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, you can't really shock me with anything considering the things that man says sometimes. So pretty hard to shock me. Yeah.
So we got where you're wanting to go with this. Obviously, you're going to keep doing it because you feel like you want to make the connection. You want to be able to help people. So you're going to just keep going with it. I hope you do decide maybe at some point to do some type of charity with what you're doing with Operation Shield Wall. And I really do hope that you create something. And if you do, please reach out because I want to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form. Even if I'm not even a name on the damn list, I just want to be able to put your name out there. What's kind of like your next 5-year plan here? Where for you personally, not TikTok, not your content, but for you personally, what's like your 5-year plan? You know how everybody says you should work in like 5-year increments. What's your 5-year plan? What's your 5-year plan? What would you say yours is right now? Where are you looking to go? What are you trying to grow in right now?
Honestly, I feel like my 5-year plan is constantly changing. Eventually I would like to get to a point that I'm doing something like what I'm doing with Odin is Watching, either for, with Odin is Watching or for a different organization, and kind of track people down that need to be found because like my dad always told me that I should have become a police officer, that I should have been a detective because I can find people very, very easily. And I used to track people down for the government. So I still do that on the side just for fun, not really for fun, but for people. And I'd like to do more of that again, but use it for tracking down people that need to be found for whatever reason, whether they're doing something stupid online, whether it's for like helping find kids or, whatever it may be. So I think I'm going to start working toward that. but I'm also
I think you
getting,
just found what your 501c3 should be for.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's probably, I really probably should make that part of it and just work toward that.
And that
It's
can be part of
been
the
on my mind
website.
a lot.
It can be part of the website, can be part of all that. And then you can
Yeah.
start building that network for different states like you're doing already now. You can find people
Yep.
that do the same thing.
Yep.
Just a suggestion from a guy looking from the outside in.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I
a
love
good
what
idea.
you're doing. I love what you're doing, Sarah. Seriously, you are. I wanted you to come on, and what really got me to really get you for me to really take that leap and ask you to come onto the podcast is I did that quote unquote cooking video. And I was making fun of the pumpkin spice coffee.
Yeah.
And and you backed up my wife.
Heck yeah.
You're like, hey, don't make fun of your wife. Remember, she chose you too.
Yep.
And I was just like, I know this, Sarah. God, I know. I'm just trying to play. But yes, you're absolutely right. She did choose me too. But just because she chose me doesn't mean she made the right decision. Doesn't mean, pumpkin spice the best flavor. It doesn't mean I'm the best flavor. Anyway. But no, seriously, I saw that and I was just like, oh hell yeah, I gotta have this woman on the show. Her content's awesome. She's doing something good for people. I love the fact that I learned about Operation Shield Wall through this. And I am going to start tagging my videos with that. It's going to be a constant tag now. It doesn't matter what it is. And awesome. if people start asking about it, I'm going to be able to tell them what it's about, and I can point them in your direction. I'm going to start kind of wrapping this up. I know it's getting a little late. You got your kiddos probably getting hungry. Usually when I start wrapping up the episode, I ask about 3 questions. The first one's 2. That's a little too bit of a 2-part question. If you listen to the end of any of those 2 podcasts, you'll know what they are. So you probably have a little bit of a head start, because I like to ask people that aren't aware, like they have no idea it's coming. But you probably have a little bit of a head start. But before I do that, I want to say first, thank you for being badass. First and foremost, thank you for being you and for sharing who you are without putting on a fucking mask or putting on a show. That's awesome. You don't get to meet very many influencers that don't have a quote unquote shtick, that don't have a motto, or you know what I mean? Like you're not putting on makeup and juggling. You're not putting on a show. You're just being you. And you're making a difference by just being you. And so I want to say thank you for being able to do that. Thank you for having the strength to be vulnerable at times on your videos, because it takes a hell of a lot of strength to do as well. And thank you for coming on the show and allowing me to kind of poke and pry a little bit into more of who Odin is watching is. And I think it's really cool, even though you probably wouldn't give a shit doing it on your videos on your TikTok. You probably wouldn't care if somebody asked, but now people are going to be able to go to one spot and learn a little bit more about you that they may not really know about. That you probably haven't been able to share a little bit of your family history of how you became who you are on your videos. And now your followers are going to be able to, they're going to feel even closer to you now. They're going to be able to see she's more than just somebody that puts these videos up. She's a human being, and she came to this realization of who she is through tragedy, just like everybody else. She's had, she comes from a big family, just like a lot of other people, and she's a middle child, just like she's just another normal human being that just found the strength and to just be herself. And it does take strength sometimes, especially nowadays, to just be yourself, So I want to say thank you. And to all your followers that are going to listen to this episode, you guys, you're welcome. But really, it was on her. She was the one that was going to say yes or no. She had the final say. So I probably still would have been trying to convince her, but she's the one that said sure. She's the one that said yes. She's the one that decided to be, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to put myself out there even a little bit more than what you have been, which is fucking awesome. And I love it.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is, Odin is watching podcast. We're on that right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're the host, but you're interviewing Sarah from Odin is watching. Mm-hmm. What's the one question you probably would have asked her, or piece of information you would have liked to share that I may have not been able to cover with you?
Oh man. I think we covered most of the stuff I like to hit on, honestly.
Is there any type of piece of information you would have liked to share? Maybe something that you didn't think that you would want to share, but maybe realized you wouldn't mind sharing that might be able to help someone else? This is me trying to coax you into something. I'm trying to give you a direction.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I'm drawing a blank.
Is there something here? Let me ask you this. Is there something that you would like your followers to know and people that reach out to you? Is there something that you would like them to know that may or may not be something that will turn you off from them, or maybe make it to where you're a little bit more receptive to them? Something.
An asshole to me? I don't know. I'm so lost right now.
I think the whole not being an asshole to you, Sarah, goes without saying. Yeah. I've seen you. I've seen you on TikTok.
I'm not the one.
I don't want to be an asshole to you. I would be too scared to be. I mean, sure. Hey, if we're gonna fight, I'll put up my dukes. I'll fight. I might go down, but I ain't going. I mean, I may lose, sure, but you ain't going away unscathed. I mean, well, I'll box you, Sarah. Let's do it.
That's what I say. I'll go down, but I'm not going to go down without a fight.
Yeah, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be like, well, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. I don't care if you won or not. But. Yeah. All right. Well, cool. All right. Don't worry about it. We can skip that question. That question. Guys, her piece of information is, don't be an asshole to her. Don't be an asshole to somebody else, because she's going to back them up and she will tear your ass apart, and not in a good way.
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
Are you blushing? Did I make Sarah blush? Odin is watching, blushing right now. Oh my God. Oh my God, guys, you will never see this on any of her videos. No, you will not see this. She is blushing. Look at her. Look at that big old smile on her face.
I'm really actually a very nice person. I'm really, really, really nice. I really am.
No,
regardless of what people think. Yeah.
No, I think people are going to get that from hearing what we've been talking about, and the fact that you've been open and honest. They're going to hear that, but you do have to keep that persona a little bit. Just because I'm nice doesn't mean I won't kick your ass type deal. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. My second question, since you can't think of anything other than don't fuck with me.
Yeah.
My second question to you is very, very simple. Do you have any questions for me? Do you have anything you would want to know about me? I'm an open book. And if you do ask me and I can't answer it for whatever reason, I'll tell you politely, think of another fucking question. I'm sorry, I'm not going to answer that one. So go for it. How long
have you been a fireman?
I've been a firefighter in the current department I'm at for 11 years. However, in total, I've been in civil service for since 2006. So 14 years in a firefighter. So 12 years as a firefighter, EMT in 06. So total civil service, 14 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 35 years old. So I got into it when I was about 21. So
do they have like the paramedics and the firefighters combined where you guys are? Like they do
So
here. Like
yeah,
they're all one.
yeah, in the department that I work for, and I'm not going to say the department, I just can't. But the department that I work for, we just recently absorbed the public health part of the city, in that the EMS providers, so they have become part of the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, EMTs and paramedics are part of the fire. They are firefighters as well. They're firefighter paramedics. And I've noticed a lot of the nation here and in the North America, and so United States and Canada, a lot of the departments are going to that. A lot of career departments are going to that, where if you do get on and or hired into a career field, most likely nowadays you're going to have to be a paramedic firefighter now.
Yeah.
And the reason being is, look, if you go to a car wreck and they call 911, they're calling a fire truck to get you cut out. Well, if we're also EMT or paramedic certified, we can give you treatment as soon as we get you out, or we can start treating you before we get you out while other firefighters are getting you out. You know, we're usually one of the first ones on scene. While we may be able to perform the rescue, well, during the rescue, we can also start treatment if you need it, you know. So a lot of career departments are going that way. Now, volunteer departments aren't really set up that way, in that they have both. They're usually separate. And so that means career departments only make up 30% of fire departments in the nation, roughly. 70% of fire departments are volunteer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so your EMS, your emergency medical response, is either usually contracted out, or it's a different part of a city service. It's not necessarily fire.
Okay. I never knew that was like, I thought more of them were not volunteer, I guess. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like if volunteers in career were to ever have a war, you know, and that we would lose. Oh no, come on. We are almost done. We are almost done. Oh my God.
Oh, there we go with that.
I was like, oh my God, we're almost done. Come on. We are almost done. Do you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so. Might as well play it safe.
Okay, so I lied. I'm going to make it an extra question. I'm actually really curious and interested to know what you think about the What Makes Us Fire content, and what your perception of it is. I'm probably going to edit this part out, but I just kind of want to know.
Oh, okay. I love it. Actually, one of my really good friends is a firefighter paramedic in a largely populated, I think he works for one of the biggest departments in Michigan, actually. So I love the whole concept of what you're doing. And I don't know if you guys have it near you, but I don't know if it's nationwide, but I know with his department, or the guys in his department, they've started this, I don't know, I don't even remember what it's called, but basically if there's a first responder that's having like a difficult time, or kind of having like a little bit of a meltdown, they have people in different areas of the state that are ready. It's like a first response team for first responders, and they go directly to them to help them. So I feel like it's kind of along those same lines. So anything to do with anything like that, I am all for.
Yeah, actually, so a lot of career departments are part of the IAFF, which is the International Association of Firefighters. It's the national union. And they created what they call the peer support system.
Yes, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. And so, I'm a huge advocate for it. I'm actually peer support certified within my department. So if anybody ever needs any help or anything like that, we're not mental health experts. We're not there to fix anything. We're only there to help point whoever needs that help in the right direction. Yeah. And we're there for them, for somebody to talk to, for somebody to lean on, and then we try to help them and get them pointed in the right direction to getting the help they need.
Yeah.
And that's actually fairly new as well. Mm-hmm. In the military, it's been a very popular thing to talk about PTSD within the military. It's a fairly new concept within civil service, and I am all for it. And I want to be an advocate for it. I have utilized it, not just as a peer supporter, but somebody that needed the help. And I thought to myself that I need to be somebody, if I'm going to be an advocate for it, I need to start talking about it. I need to admit that I did utilize it. I am part of those people that needed the help. And it's okay to get the help if you need it. No big deal. It happens to everybody. So, well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And I hope that I continue doing some content that you enjoy. I like helping people. I like putting a smile on people's faces. It's just, there's too much hate in the world right now. And there's too many people that don't know how to disagree respectfully. And I would like to think I can do that fairly well. Yeah. So I want to just put that message out there. That's all I'm trying to do. And also I'm trying, of course, obviously I'm trying to promote the podcast too and get people out there and listening and hopefully learning. So, and that's what it is. My last question, Sarah, to you is, you're on the What Makes Us Fire podcast. And how I like to explain it is that it can be taken both ways. When they hear What Makes Us Fire, somebody who's listening to the show, they're thinking, I am learning about what makes these people fire. Civil service, cops. Really, when I say fire, think civil service. So I'm listening to people and I'm learning what makes them that type of person. But for me as the host, I like to think of it more of as a question to my guest. What do you think it is that makes people choose to make a sacrifice of themselves to be a civil service member? And that includes you. And that includes you because you were a daughter to a civil service member, your father, a cop. You were part of that support system for him. You were part of that What Makes Us Fire family, and that you were part of a civil service family. What do you think it is, and where did that come from, that innate thing that people that do this job found and made the choice that making a sacrifice of myself to help others is what we want to do? And where did you find that within yourself?
I think it's, personally, I think it's something that people are born with, and sometimes it just takes certain things happening for it to really come out. I think watching my dad and then just hearing all the stories, because before he was a police officer and after he was in the Navy, he was an EMT, and just, I think watching my dad always serving people in that way and respectfully made a huge difference in my life. I don't think if he hadn't been a police officer, I may not be as apt to do what I'm doing now. But I think watching him growing up and being a daddy's girl and having the utmost respect for that man, I think that's played a huge part in it. But I think it's something that people are born with. I really do. And then it just, certain things happen and it'll either bring it out more or it won't. I don't know. That's, yeah.
Do you think it's possible everybody is born with it, and it's circumstances that happen in their lives that allow them to make that choice to go ahead and pursue it?
Yep, I do. I think a lot of things are based on situations that happen or circumstances in your life.
Where did you find it within yourself? Because you are, whether you like to think so or not, you're just on a different, you're just in a different realm of being a civil servant. Where did you think that came from within yourself?
Mine all started when I lost my brother, and I organized a 22K for veteran and first responder suicide. And it was from that point that it kind of all just, yep, this is what I'm doing now. So that's pretty much where all mine started.
Awesome. Again, I'm sorry for your brother. I'm sorry for your loss. But if there's anything I can say about it, it's not good. But if there's anything I can say about that situation and that trauma, is that it created you as a person. Mm-hmm. And because of that, you're doing a lot of good things kind of in his name.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's not directly in his name, you have made a choice to be who you are because of what happened, and you can attribute that to him. So he's still making a difference through you as well. And I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
We always need to find, there's always some good, even in bad situations. So it's my goal to always find the good in something.
Well, you definitely found that silver lining, and you are kicking ass with it, Sarah. Thanks. You really are. I'm going to go ahead and end it with that. Thank you so much again for coming onto the podcast. I really do appreciate you sharing everything that you have. I know we had some really effed up technical difficulties at the beginning, and then we had crying 4-year-old, and but hey, that's what it is, right? That's life. We're human beings. That's life. We're human beings. We got to deal with all the same stuff. I had my kids and my dog howling in the background, but you know what? That's what it is. It's life. We're human beings. Doesn't matter how many followers we have. All that stuff doesn't matter. We're still normal human beings, people. We're still normal, having fun, trying to help other people. And that's all we really want to do. And we hope that we can help you. And Sarah, I know you are helping a shit ton of people, and you help me. You give me a laugh. You give me a smile. I can't wait to help you and be a part of Operation Shield Wall, because I really do think being an advocate for people that sometimes just need a little bit of backup is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And so I really look forward to see where this goes for you. And I hope I can help in any way, shape, or form. Where can people find you? Obviously, we've mentioned it like a million times. TikTok, they can follow you on TikTok. Odin is watching. But can you go ahead and reiterate your website, and if there's any other platforms they can follow you on and reach out to you and follow it?
Yep. So the website is just odiniswatching.com, and there's links to Facebook and Instagram. I'm pretty terrible at social media, so I'm not super active on Facebook or Instagram. But I'm on there just in case I ever get banned from TikTok. That's really why I made those, because I'm just waiting for the day that I wake up and they're like, your account's gone because you violated guidelines way too many times. So that's why I have those. So if that happens, then I'll be active on those.
And it's the same tag, Odin is watching?
Yep.
Awesome. So What Makes Us Fire Family, you heard it. Go follow Odin is watching on Facebook and Instagram, just in case she gets banned on TikTok for being too much of a badass. And it's happened.
Yeah.
But again, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your stories. Tell your little ones, thank you for allowing me to pull you away from them just for, the little while that we had. Thank you for being patient with the technical issues and everything else. You've been an amazing guest. I hope we continue to stay in contact. I will be texting you randomly just to make sure you're good, seeing how you're doing, stuff like that as well. I really think we can grow a friendship that I think together we're going to be able to make a difference for your platform and what you're trying to do. And I know you'll be able to help me, and it's greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
All right. What Makes Us Fire Family? This was Sarah, also known as Odin is watching on TikTok. If you guys don't follow her, please go follow her now. She's an amazing human being. You guys stay safe, have fun, get out there. Remember, let's show some love and peace out in the world. We never know what somebody might be going through, and you never know if you might be the one to make the difference. And I know Sarah can say it with me, being the one that makes the difference, even though she's a little bit too humble to admit it, feels really fucking good.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
It does.
Stay safe. Hey, assholes out there. Watch out. That was Sarah from Odin is Watching on TikTok, the creator of the movement Operation Shield Wall. you all will start seeing that hashtag a little bit more from me. Let's stand up for those that don't know how or need help standing up for themselves. Sarah's doing something great. She's doing amazing things. And you know what? She's human. She's just an everyday mom, just like the rest of us. Mom, a parent. I'm not a mom, but you know what I mean. We heard her child in the background yelling and screaming. I saw her comfort her kid while we were having our discussion. She is an amazing human being, and I thank her so much for coming on this show and for being the person that she has chosen to be. Sarah, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. What Makes Us Fire family, please remember to follow What Makes Us Fire on all your social media platforms with the tag at What Makes Us Fire on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and on TikTok. Of course, you can follow us on YouTube as well with What Makes Us Fire Space Podcast, and listen to us on any of the podcast hosting sites that you're listening to us on. Subscribe to the channel, leave some reviews. It would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Hopefully next week or by the end of the week, there's going to be a website coming up. It's going to be an amazing website, you guys. So keep an eye out, keep looking, keep sharing the podcast. If there's anything that you guys want to reach out to me to, you can also reach out to me at whatmakesusfire@yahoo.com. And of course, if you're watching the YouTube, please, 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 if you ever need help, anybody, reach out. The suicide hotline is 100% confidential and anonymous. Reach out. We're here for you. We're here right now. What Makes Us Fire family, get out there, have fun, stay safe, and remember, let's show some love and peace out in the world. We never know what somebody might be going through, and you never know if you might be the one to make the difference. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, being that person that makes a difference is amazing. Peace.